Welcome to the Burning Pallets Podcast, sponsored by Texsource. Here's your host, Ryan Boland.
What's happening, guys? Ryan here with another podcast. It is Friday.
Woohoo!
Friday.
Gotta love that, Friday.
Yes, we count down the days. Not really. I like to pick on people.
Yeah.
On Mondays, like, hey, you got 5 more days to go.
Yeah, it's I'm still getting the the hump day Mike Camel thing.
Yeah.
I can't shake that. You know, what day is it? Mike.
Oh yeah.
That's why I work out here with around the people. I just can't even go in the shop on Wednesday.
Mike.
Yeah.
You're welcome to another episode, podcast, whatever we call it, of with us at Burning Pallets Podcast.
Us just talking about shit.
Yep, all day, every day. But it's Friday. It's post Mother's Day. We just 5 days ago was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
My wife's a new mother. It's her first Mother's Day, so you know what that means in screen printing.
What did he get for her?
You know what that means as a screen printer, what you're doing. You got to create some bull crap so you don't have to order it online.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You know how many times I've done that? And I'm not going to name the company.
Sometimes you get tired of like having to just go create one T-shirt for something, so you buy it anyways. But you always learn your lesson. Don't buy it because they are 4 weeks behind.
Yeah, especially on the holiday. But there's been so many times where, the graduation of the kids, and she wants a new, let's just say, Fox shirt or something, and I'm like, I'll print that bastard. And it ends up being one shirt. It takes me 3 hours because I'm doing the art. And
I learned my lesson to stop doing it, but now I've learned my lesson to continue to start doing it again because it was Mother's Day. So I was like, all right, I'm going to create my own shirt because it shows I'm doing some little extra work.
Yeah.
So I did that one, but I also bought one shirt for Mother's Day, and it's still not here. We're 5 days past. I ordered it 3 weeks before Mother's Day. It was like one of those thick sweatshirts off of Instagram, and had heat pressed Mama and the name and different locations 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's still not here.
Was it a direct to garment?
No,
sweatshirt?
I'm pretty sure it was probably a heat press. They probably just put heat press a small little cursive Mama on the full chest, and then they put the name on the cuff or something like that. Anyways, point being, it's still not here when I should have done it myself. Yeah,
that print on demand can get people at the holidays for sure. So the name of this company, if it had the business owner, did it start with like Alan? Was he the print on demand guy?
No.
Okay.
Actually, I should have went with him. But
yeah, he would have done it out of guilt.
But you can't.
He would have been here on Mother's Day.
The only attraction to these people on Instagram, for me, is the type of garments that they find. They do find these off-the-wall garments. Instead of like you going to order ACC or Carolina Made, you can find your garments there. But I don't know, just that's one sweatshirt attracted me to, all right, just let me buy this. Let me see how it goes. It did not turn out well because it's still not here.
So what are you going to do? Are you going to save it?
Well, she's already got her. Well, no, I'll still give it to her.
Does she know that you did it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, because you had to get the kid, my kid, I got a card that came from him to her.
Oh.
And then I got our card. So I didn't let her open up my card. So I'm saving my card still 5 days later, post Mother's Day, to put it with the present. Anyways, long story short is there's no long story short. It's just some BS.
So I was amazed to see you printed like a onesie, right?
Yeah.
And we were on the cusp of making a video, or me shooting it, you printing it to do a foil video, which hadn't been released yet. We just got it into the editing bay. But you did a 2-color, one of the colors being foil for the baby.
Yeah,
the baby has a Mother's Day shirt.
Yes, I try to make it simple. I mean, again, being a screen printer, just doing a one-off for a family member or my wife.
Yeah,
I don't care if it's perfect. I'm not going to go make 3 screens for this one onesie that he's going to wear one time in his life.
Yeah, he's going to puke on it.
Yeah, so I just did one screen, which I was going to be 2 different colors anyways. I probably should have picked a different art, but the art was kind of on top of each other, so you could see part of the crown had a little bit of black ink on it.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I went out the easy way trying to do this. But yeah, just a simple black water base, our first Mother's Day, and then I had a crown on top, and print printed the full adhesive down, so you can see where I had 2 different squeegee marks on the same screen trying to navigate around those little lines.
Yeah, you probably could have like
definitely
just
rigged
really
it.
taped it off, like, and then
I was in a
printed
rush. I was like, "This is simple. I can do
I
it.
know.
Let me just run it."
It was funny because you had it up there like 4 days earlier, and it like
Yeah.
sat up there collecting dust, and then like
Got busy.
we're ready to leave, and it's like Friday at 5:25, and you run out here, and yeah,
It's one of those things where you think, "It's just a family. It's my wife. Let me
always
make it simple. Let me just take this small 2-inch squeegee, run it around the crown really easy." It worked.
yeah.
So, but
And that's the one of a kind.
and she doesn't know screen printing, and so she's like, "Oh, it's perfect," which I saw many imperfections.
Yeah. That's unfortunately, sooner or later she may start seeing this.
No, I won't show her.
As someone in the business, my wife's got that eye, so she knows when I give her like one that's not perfect, and she feels like she's got to tell me about it. So, I'm going to proclaim this. If the Guinness Book of World Records has some sort of record for like number of T-shirts, my wife is definitely up there in the Cleveland Browns collection. And then the rarity of the stuff. She's got so many one-outs because that's a cool thing you can do as a screen printer is, let's say, you work all the production stuff. Well, sometimes you just have to do something for the art's sake. And so I did that every year for Christmas. My kids, I'd give them all one screen, and then I'd say, what do you want to print? And it could be Bob Marley or John Lennon or some rare thing. And then we would go out. I would do the art right on the spot, crank out the vellum on my laser printer back then.
Yeah.
And then we would burn it out, and it was a Christmas tradition. But the beauty of it is screen printing is sort of like this art form, but when you're using it every day and you're printing, the Bob's Roofing shirt, it loses its pizzazz of being this art thing. But when you do a one out like that, then it becomes more of a, no one else has that shirt that you made your son, right?
Sure. Well, no one else in this little vicinity, but the entire world of Google has probably used the same logo,
Same art.
Yeah, I mean, I got off Google Images. So,
Okay.
so, I mean,
I smell a lawsuit. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't go above and beyond for a one-off onesie, but R.I.P. to Vellum, by the way.
Oh, I got you. And people over the years, they've said to me like, "Oh, you printed that Bob Marley shirt, you're going to get sued." And I'm like, "Look, I did not sell them."
Oh, yeah.
When you do stuff like that, it's almost like if I painted a famous thing or whatever. I mean, you're allowed to do that, but it's when you try to sell them at the local flea market, then that's when you're breaking some sort of copyright. So never the tween shall meet if it's for you.
Well, my wife's already, before the kid was born, which was December, so we're 6 months in. But anyways, she's already, we're Texsource is a supplier. Burning Palette, sponsored by Texsource. We're a screen printing supplier, so we don't do a lot of screen printing except for classes. But she knows that I can screen print, and I have on demand whatever we want here. Mm-hmm. And so while she was still pregnant, she's like started already coming at me to create like his own little name brand to put on onesies and little hoodies and all this crap. So
okay,
I put that off, still putting it off. But
no, here's what we're going to do is we're going to just sit down for like a half hour, and we're going to get his name in all kinds of sizes. We're going to get him through like junior high on this. And then we're going to order one gang sheet of direct-to-film transfers.
Yeah.
And then anytime she's like, he needs another little shirt, we'll just cut his little name out.
Another shirt. Pisses me off.
Yeah.
I always want to buy more shirts. Anyways.
Yeah. I mean.
But that's a good idea. We are, clearly when she said that back a year ago, I started drawing up some ideas. So, I have a artwork pretty much good to go.
Yeah. But you do
I didn't do artwork. I put my brain and I took a magic marker on a sheet of paper and drew it.
Yeah, this is the cocktail napkin art that
much.
Screen printers know all about.
Yep. And the people hate me. Artists hate me when I do that. But
no, well, there's here's what's worse. When someone hands me literally a napkin, every screen printer's got the napkin that somebody had the idea. But that's just a cliche, the cocktail napkin design. Those are actually better because those are usually crappy enough that you can just easily like look at it. You got a concept. The problem is when someone is a terrible digital artist and then they bring you a terrible design that you just have to completely redo terrible, but do it in the right format.
Yeah.
That's worse. Whereas the cocktail napkin is an opportunity to take their concept and expand upon it.
You as an artist can
expand upon it. Yeah.
They give you the napkin or the sheet of paper. You as an artist can kind of create it to how you want it, and it's going to look good.
Yeah.
Versus an artist who is, or like you said, a bad artist who gives you something.
Yeah,
and they want that exactly.
Yeah, and maybe the file's not in the right format, but they're using like a font like Comic Sans, which is illegal in most states now because it's so terrible, and so you're just stuck doing a redo of a crappy design. And that's where the rub is in doing art. And then you have the some people that will literally say, I don't know what I want, but I'll know when I see it.
Yeah.
And then you're an artist and you're trying to come up with a concept. So artists really have to we're up there with bartenders in the world of being psychologists. Bartenders are, amateur psychologists because they
talk all day. Yeah.
Yeah. They hear everybody's problems and they have to commit them to just continue drinking and not just, go off the rails. And artists have to learn to do that too, because when somebody tells me that, I won't do anything. If that's where you're at, like, I don't know what I want, and then they want you to just come up with some stuff. And you always know that it's going to be a long process.
Wouldn't that be the same concept for tattoo people? I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the world don't know what they want tattoo-wise, so they just start getting crap, couple pieces here and there, and then all of a sudden, I hate all that. Let me get one big massive sleeve to cover off all this stupid stuff that I got.
Yeah, you made some, whiskey and bad decisions will lead to many bad tattoos. But if you know any tattoo artists, and I do know a few, I'm not like the heavily tatted guy, but what their whole thing is, it's funny, is they've got all the art on the wall. I think it's called Flash. Yeah. Those books.
Yep.
And so somebody will come in and look around. Oh, I want this butterfly right on the right on the lower back there or whatever. That was a good idea for a while until someone named it a tramp stamp, and then now everybody's walking around in shame that has a butterfly on their lower back. But tattoo artists hate that when somebody just picks something out of a book, because they're typically artists and they want to have a creation. So they like it when you come to them and say, look, I have a concept, but I like your style of art. So you just come up with something and we'll roll with it. Yeah. You're going to get a much better tattoo. Yeah. If they're doing Flash, they're just going to hammer you. They're going to push the needle to the bone because they hate you. Yeah. And T-shirt artists are like that too. I mean, I had some really good artists that worked for us, and you got to just slam stuff out and get it out, and then you got an artist there that's like, and these, and like 4 hours later.
Is that drawing or is that smoking?
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Okay, all right.
Everybody in screen printing smokes marijuana. It's why I had to get out of it, is so that I could just get out of the habit.
It should be a side business.
Yeah, exactly.
Sell some weed with your ink.
Yeah. Well, we're putting coffee. Speaking of that, today we're sponsored by McCafe, but we recently, as we speak, we're printing ink today that has coffee in the ink. So that's a whole nother wormhole. But yeah, we could start having a cannabis infused ink.
No, not infused. That's a waste. We sell weed on the side with your inks.
Like is it like a discount?
Sure.
Is it legal here in North Carolina?
Nah.
It's just
Like
what
out in the diaspora.
it's
No.
the it's the hemp, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Hemp
I don't know.
hemp is legal. The stuff that
I mean, that's legal everywhere, right? Hemp. Anyways,
yeah,
that's
the Farm Bill, yeah.
that's fake.
You're about to draw an entirely new audience to this podcast with this.
I mean,
That's probably good. That's probably good.
I'm not gonna lie. I won't say that I don't not know how to roll a good. I didn't roll joints, but I would roll other things in with. Anyways, I'm not gonna lie that I'm a good roller.
You're a good roller. Well, that's I'm learning things here.
Yeah.
That's good.
Come on, Mike, ask questions.
You-
I mean,
you
so
probably-
let me bring this back. My parents already know. In college,
In college, yeah.
I decided to. All right, let me go. Yeah, everybody smokes weed in college. Most people, at least, the cool people, does. I tried to grow weed, and it was semi-successful. And I had in my dorm room, not dorm room, is the apartments closer to college, whatever. And you have your roommates, and so I decided to put the wall planter hangers
Oh yeah, yeah.
in my closet, and then I put my black lights, mounted those above it, and then I grew 4 plants.
Now, did they end up failing
Well,
to produce
technically they failed because my parents came in later and found it, and they made me cut it up with scissors and flush it down a toilet. They got about that high.
yeah,
Nothing crazy, but
yeah.
I mean that's back in the day where you're stupid and wanted to.
yeah, and most of those operations like that fail tremendously
Yeah,
because
but you're stupid and doing stuff.
Yeah, I have some relatives that are, that grow their own personal stuff in states where it's allowed.
Yeah.
You're allowed like so many plants, and my sister grows a strain for, it's straight up medicine. It's low in THC, but high in CBD. But anyway, it's tough. It's very difficult because you have to have the right soil, nitrogen levels. It's an art.
I mean, I was probably 19, 20, just being
Yeah.
stupid. I just
Yeah.
I just went out in the backyard, got some dirt. And,
I did that one time, and
but they did grow to about that.
it was in between, like when my wife, one of my former wives, like left me, and I was in this big house by myself. I'm like, hey, I got this bedroom here, and but I didn't know what I was doing,
Yeah.
and it failed. It grew straight up and fell over. I mean, it was, and I couldn't tell if it was male or female. Like I said, I didn't know what I was doing, but it's just the idea. I don't even think it had to be that plant. It was just the idea that I had this seed,
Yeah.
and then I made this plant. It's like, look, I made
What else are you gonna do with
something.
the seed? I mean, you might
Yeah.
as well plant it. I mean, we're
Yeah.
already high, so let's just go put this in dirt.
Yeah, we're gonna see because this shit's expensive.
Anyways, we come a long way, and
But yeah, and these days though, it's funny because a lot of printers, that's their drug of choice. Because it's just. But with that being said, you got to save that shit for after work because when you're in an environment where you're printing, it just doesn't work. I mean, you're trying to mix ink and you're looking at the color. Next thing you know, you got like 10 gallons of ink, because you just can't get the color right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
well, back to the Mother's Day onesies, screen
Yeah.
printer crap. Now I need to go to this DTF and get some film. And when she starts hollering, let me get a T-shirt, let me
Yeah.
get a hoodie, and we got the nice
Just
little
don't tell
logo.
her.
Yeah, I just go heat press it and be done.
We'll do like 10 or 12 different logos. Like I said, we'll do them as size. So as he gets bigger,
Yeah.
and you want something like you already have his like varsity football one, and like 10 years from now, as long as we keep the silica bags in there, we'll whip that thing out. But then you can do it at the last minute. You just
Yeah.
press it and say, how'd you do that? Well, it's a technique we have, darling. Just keep her in the dark. Don't let her come
Oh yeah.
here.
Well, she asked me to print shirts all the time, or she asked to buy shirts all the time. I was like, just like we all do in screen printing. Like I can make that, but we never make it.
Yeah.
It's such a pain.
Yeah. Have you had to do any like my family, or like she'll say like my family, I need these
I did
12 shirts for a family reunion type thing?
I did it one year for Christmas because I was going to try and save some money. And anyways, someone in the family, me and her decided to print shirts for them
Yeah.
for Christmas. And so we ended up getting it to the entire family as their Christmas gifts. and it was customized with the person's name.
Yeah.
So it worked out. We saved money, but
It was way too much work not to just.
that wasn't bad.
It wasn't personalizing everything.
No, not every single thing. We just took the one name and put it across all shirts.
Oh, I got you.
But,
See, back in the '80s when I started printing, bootlegging wasn't frowned upon like it is now. Like people weren't. Disney wasn't tearing grandmas out of their craft rooms like they do now, dragging them off to prison. So every Christmas, the company I worked for, Rose City Sportswear back in Indiana, we would just put the Nike swoosh on two or three screens, and then everybody would print whatever they wanted for Christmas,
Yeah.
So you would actually get like nice premium. Champion was actually a decent brand back then.
Yeah.
Champion was bought by Hanes, and they're not the quality that the vintage ones are. Super thick. So we get these Champion hoodies and T-shirts, and we print Nike on everything. And it was just a tradition in our shop. And also the colleges. Back in the day, I'm from Indiana, so like IU won the national championship. Our company was printing shirts that were selling retail in the local stores that next morning, and it was fine. It was at some point in the late 80s when everybody's like, wait a minute, you're making money on our name. We're going to start protecting it. And then that all started collapsing on us big time. So we started getting letters from lawyers if you cross the line in the companies. Like Coke tried to sue us at one point.
So if you're listening, do not do all this.
Yeah, if you're going to bootleg, here's what my advice is. If you're going to straight up bootleg stuff at the flea market and you want to impress me, then do it the right way. Tear out the labels, put in custom labels that look like what the company would print, give high quality prints, and then sell them, not the $50 that it would cost you to get a John Deere shirt, but sell them, at $40, but make it look like it's a real one. So when the John Deere employee comes around and says like, yeah, this is our shirt for sure, then you've impressed me, but nobody will ever do that.
Well, we had a topic today, but we got way off topic with.
Did we have it?
With weed and bootleg shirts? So that's
that's going to be I'm going to name the podcast "Weed and Bootleg Shirts."
This got way off topic.
Well, what was the original topic? We had current events.
We had our guest. He actually just arrived, but.
He did. So we're going to do a second. We should do a second podcast.
Yeah, we will.
Just with the kid,
yeah.
Right?
But you didn't catch me what I said earlier. R.I.P. to Vellum. RIP.
Okay, that's the name.
No, you were talking about using vellum earlier.
Yeah.
And I said R.I.P. I mean, it's long gone. It's dead.
Do we still sell Casey's translucency, right?
Because we have to. We don't want to.
But so it's not dead. There's still a few people out there using it.
A few, yes.
Yeah. So vellum wasn't a bad, scenario if you knew how to handle it right. It shrinks.
Yeah.
So
it would always leave that big, massive square in your exposed image.
Yeah, but and that never hurted it.
No, but it was still funny to see that.
Yeah, and people producing their own films is still, it's a tough thing. We get that all the time where people are wanting us to help them output their film, and it's like there's a million different inkjet printers out there.
Not even that. The issues with trying to, like Epson, for instance. I mean, we used to sell Epson, but they're always changing. Epson's always redoing their software. There's something always going on with Epson, so it makes it difficult for printers and people like Texsource, us, to sell to screen printers new printers because they're forever changing.
Yeah, and you can't carry like a million different cartridges. No. And then you have some people that are outputting with all black cartridges, and then you have some people that still
it's crazy
are trying to do the CMYK thing.
I mean, there for a while you had the Epson 1430. That lasted for a good couple years, 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Then it went S&P 400. Now it's off into la la land with what's going on. Who knows? But now we've kind of switched to mainly using more Canon types of printers.
The Canon side?
But I mean, nowadays people use pretty much any inkjet printer and they convert it their own way to make it work. So
yeah, and that's fine and dandy. But the problem is when they have problems with it and they're reaching out.
Yeah,
I love to help people, but I'm not going to learn all the quirks of every single inkjet printer that mankind has ever come up with. And that's probably one of the biggest problems. Even when we teach the art class, people are like, well, you didn't show us how to output stuff. And it's like, well, hell, I don't know what you have, man.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have your, a little bubble jet, or do you have the, the eco tank, or you got a dot matrix over there, with the side paper, the green and white paper. I mean, so yeah, it's tough. Yeah, bubble jet, that's old school, right?
I don't think anybody said that in like 20 years.
Yeah. I'm definitely dating myself by calling it a bubble jet. Let me pull that up on my BlackBerry here.
You should go into an Office Max and ask for the bubble jet printers and just watch their face.
No one would know what the bubble jet.
Nope.
Because everybody working, in these stores these days, they're 22 years old. So if it's not an iPhone 14, they're just like, what iPhone? What is this foreign thing you're thinking or you're talking about?
Well,
did we ever figure out what the original subject was, though?
Yes, but I'm not going to tell anybody because we're going to use it some other day.
We'll use it some other day.
Yeah, I got to keep it to ourselves. But we do have a guest coming on, so we're going to cut this one short and get with the guest.
Yeah, and remember, folks, if you've made it this far in the podcast, God bless you, number one. And two, send us your troubles. Send us your questions. I'm online 24/7. I do sleep about 3 hours, but I'm pretty much vampire state, no sleep, and I'm answering questions on all of our channels at all times. I won't leave you hanging. So
I'll be honest, I wasn't sure where you're going to go with that comment. I thought you were going to talk about what we had just talked about. But
no.
I wasn't sure where you're going with that. But anyways, thanks for joining us. Catch us on the next podcast.
Peace out, everybody.
See ya.